Welcome to part 4 of my declutter series. We're working on bronzers and contours today. And we'll probably go ahead and pop in the face palettes as well, just because I have them out. They are in my bronzer drawer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Now I have a little bit of everything. I have some cream products. I have some powder products. I have some like little palettes down here. So let's just see what we have going on. Okay, we'll start here with this big one from Marc Jacobs. This is the Omega Bronze in Tantric. I am definitely keeping this. I love the packaging. Oh, satisfying. But I also love the bronzer inside, so I am definitely keeping this. This is the coconut one. It has a bit of a scent. I also have the one that doesn't have the coconut scent, but keeping this one. We'll pick up this buxom one now. This is Staycation Vibes, the primer infused bronzer rooftop tan. Keeping this. When I found this at TJ Maxx, I was really hoping I would find the blushes as well, but I never saw those. But keeping the bronzer. My Sweetie Pie bronzer from Too Faced. Definitely keeping this one. I really like this one. Even with the blushier tones, it seems to work really well for me. So I'm keeping that. This mini of the Butter Bronzer, I am going to keep. The scent of this one isn't as strong as like the blushes or even the full size, really. I mean, it is a lesser amount of product, but I am going to keep this. I would actually like to be able to finish this. It's a pretty loosely pressed formula, so I kind of feel like this summer I could knock this out, but I think I might try to. I did use this recently, and it is way more pigmented than the big one, I think. I feel like that's what happened. I went a little ham with this thing, but I do want to try to finish this one, so I am keeping this little tiny butter bronzer. The same for this Too Faced. This is the Sun Bunny. This I almost feel like I could get rid of. Let me swatch it. I think I will keep this for now. And I might try to pan this. This only has 2.5 grams. And this one has 3.5. So there's even less product in this Too Faced one. So I think I'll keep that for right now and see if we can knock that out as well. I'm going to get rid of this NARS foundation, actually. It's in like medium dark. And I was hoping I would be able to use this as like a bronzer or a contour, you know, a cream product. And it's just, it's way too pigmented for me to use it that way because I'm not good with cream products. So it's too much. So I am going to go ahead and get rid of this. My Laura Geller bronzer in Baked Bronze and Brighten Fair. Absolutely gorgeous. I also love that this has the pink in it as well. I don't know if you can see the swirls of that, but love, love, love this bronzer. It's very similar to the Sweetie Pie. Very pretty. The MAC bronzer in Totally Taupeless. This is like a really generic matte bronzer. I do enjoy this one. And I love the packaging. Okay, another Laura Geller. This is the Beach Matte Baked Hydrating Bronzer in Siesta Medium. I don't know that it's really hydrating, but it is really nice. This is also just a middle of the road matte bronzer. Nothing too spectacular either way. Definitely keeping that. Go ahead and pick up this Zoeva one. Try not to have the light hit it too much. This Zoeva one here. The Share Your Light bronzer in Lumi 0.2. This one's okay. I've only used this a couple of times, so not really familiar with it, but has a little chunk of highlight over here. I don't mind that. I like a glowy bronzer, so I'm keeping that one. This is NARS Laguna. And I feel like this has a bit of hard pan, but I just watched Lauren May Beauty take all the hard pan off of her products the other day. It was very satisfying. So I think I will probably set this out and do the same. But I am going to keep this one. I don't like the packaging on here though, like that soft feel. Like this is gross and like the lettering is turning yellow. I don't know. It's not cute, but the product is nice. This Lorac bronzer in Beach Betty. Absolutely gorgeous. And I love the packaging. This is really nice. It's like a kind of a glowy bronzer, but it's not too warm. It's a pretty cool toned one actually, and I really like this. Definitely keeping that. The Bare Minerals Invisible Bronze in Tan. I have Fair to Light, Tan, and Deep. I'm not sure what this is. Dark to Deep. I wear all three of them depending on the time of year. I love this formula. It is seamless. I don't think they sell this anymore. The Invisible Bronze. Absolutely love it. Keeping that. And keeping the other one. This is the Dark to Deep. Now I do have to be more careful with this one, but I like the undertone of it, kind of that red. Keeping that. This is actually a MAC blush. It said it was a blush. It's Bronze Medalist and Goldilocks Powder Blush Duo. I've tried this as a blush and it is a little too bronzy. But I tried it as a contour thinking like this is a really cool tone shade, and it was a little too rosy. So as a bronzer, this works. It's nice. It's good. So keeping that. This Believe Beauty I picked up at Dollar Tree recently. Love the formula of this. So soft, so blendable. Very, very nice. This is the shade Tahitian Sun. So if you see those at Dollar Tree, don't sleep on those. They're nice. This number 7 bronzer in Caramel is a little warm for me. I don't use this a ton, but I do enjoy it when I wear it. So keeping that. This is the Laura Geller Baked Bronzer. This is the Baked Sculpting Bronzer and Highlighter palette. I just swirl all these together. It has a highlight, but these are also kind of glowy. I love the Laura Geller products. This is actually, so I'm keeping that. This is actually a foundation in Tan, but I do like this as a bronzer. I actually picked this up before I had any of the bronzers from her. So I bought it with the intention of using it as a bronzer and then found these. So I'm going to keep it because it is a good bronzer shade for myself. Keeping with the theme of Laura Geller, this is the Baked Body Frosting. This is a giant container, and it doesn't need to be like, yes, this is a dome with product, but I mean, this is ridiculous. But this is like a body bronzer. Also keeping. I do like this in the summer to kind of even out my neck and chest with, you know, my face. Because I wear sunscreen on my face every day and try to wear it on my chest, but that just gets more tanned in the summer. So I do use this to kind of even everything out. Keeping that. Okay, I have a couple of Too Faced products here. The Too Faced Hot Cocoa Bronzer, definitely keeping. Bought this winter. Oh, so cute. So cute. Smells like hot cocoa. Love. This is the Natural Lust Bronzer. This is an older product, but I like packaging like this sometimes when you just want to feel, you just want that fanciness. But this does have a bit of a scent. I don't even know what the scent is, just kind of perfumey. Vanilla-y perfume, so keeping that. Okay, over here we have the Milani Baked Bronzer in Dolce. I don't wear this, like, ever, but I hold on to it. This is one of those products where people, you know, rave about this, and so then I'm like, oh, well, I must love it too, but I don't necessarily love it. But I hold on to it because everybody else does. That's weird, I know. And this one is kind of in the same boat. I want to try, this is a very warm bronzer. I want to try this in the other shade, but you can only like get it online. And I just haven't made the order yet, but I want so badly to try the other shade. So I think these two might go in like a maybe go pile, because I am just holding on to these because I feel like I'm supposed to enjoy them, but they are very warm on my skin. So I'm going to put these in a little maybe pile over here, and we'll see. We'll come back. All right, this e.l.f. bronzer I'm keeping. This is in Forever Sun-Kissed. I do also have Perpetually Tan, but I use that as a blush. I really like this shade. Very easy to use, very simple. $6 or $7 maybe now. I don't know how much. Have the prices gone up? Definitely keeping my little Kevin Aquan. I'm almost done with this. I'm so excited. So we're working on that still. That is staying. Here's my Milani bronzer in 02 Sun-Kissed. This is a silky matte. Love this. Now these are both Milani bronzers, but you can see the difference. Like the cool tone of this and that really orangey warm tone of that one. They're very, very different bronzers, but they're both good. So that's why I'm like, I'm definitely keeping the matte one, but that's, I don't know. I have a couple of contours here. This is the Shade and Light, the KVD. I am keeping this. This is an amazing contour shade for me. This powder is actually very pigmented, also the lighter powder in here. So keeping that. My NYX, this is an older blush that's new. I just unwrapped it, you know, a couple months ago, and I haven't even swatched it yet. But it is an older blush. I had it as a backup. In taupe, keeping that. It's actually what is mixed in here with the Kevyn Aucoin. They were both looking like that. And so I put them together and it filled this pan up. So these two are actually mixed together in here. But I'm keeping that one. This is the Gradient Sunlit Bronzer. This is very, very pigmented. But again, it has kind of that red tone to it. So this is very, very pigmented, very dark. But I go sparingly. And it's a really nice finish. I really like it. So I'm keeping that. This Lorac bronzer in the most ridiculous packaging I've ever seen, I'm definitely keeping. The product is amazing. It slides out this way. It's a really nice, like smooth, soft, baked bronzer. It's so nice. And the tone is perfect. But the top slides out like this. The bottom slides out like this with a brush on it. Like, I feel like this is a bit much. So it's rivaling the size of that Laura Geller one, but I despise the packaging. The mirror's on the bottom. Of course, why wouldn't it be? And I don't know. This is a weird product, but the product inside is awesome. But the packaging, 0. Product, 10 out of 10. Keeping that. This Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Contour. I swatched this earlier, and I don't know that I would use this as a contour shade, but it did look nice as like a bronzing shade. So I do think I'm going to keep this because like I've said in every video so far, I never thought I would utter the words. I'm kind of getting into cream products now, and I know this is an older product. I also got this at Dollar Tree, but I do want to give this a try. I feel like this is something I want to try before I go buy like a really nice, you know, cream contour or bronzer. If I use it and I'm like, nope, too much work, don't want to use that. So I'm going to try this out. So I'm going to keep this. L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. We're working on panning that. Looking good. Excellent, excellent bronzer. I love this. Okay, now these I'm not sure about. So let's see. We'll start with the Wet n Wild. And this is in the shade Sunset Striptease. I am going to keep this. This is actually really nice. I like the tone of this. It's a nice like cool tone bronzer. I don't know. This is a Wet n Wild product I'm actually going to keep. The Bare Minerals bronzer in Warmth. I am keeping this. It is a little warmer in tone, but I don't mind this one. I like this. Keeping that. This is almost brand new. I think I've used it once. From BH, highlight and contour and bronzer. So definitely keeping this. I've not had these very long. This Kevyn Aucoin, I think I'm going to keep it. It's kind of like the blush. I kept the blush I had like this. I just don't reach for these. They're kind of small and kind of get lost in my collection a little bit. So I think I'm going to keep this. I like the color. It is one of those like deeper ones, kind of like this Becca one, where I'm going to have to be really cautious with the amount I use, but I do think the tone will be what I want. So I think I'm going to try this out because I never really got into it when I bought it. And yeah, I'm not ready to part with it yet. I want to try it out a little bit more. On to batch number 2. Okay, I think that's good for now. I'm going to have to do my bronzers in 3 batches. Maybe more with the face palettes. This is ridiculous. I didn't realize I had this many bronzers. So I need to take that into consideration as I'm doing this. Okay, we're going to start with these Marc Jacobs ones. This is also a tantric bronzer in the black packaging instead of the white. I'm keeping that. This is the Hi-Fi filter. I used it for contour for a while, and then I started using it as a bronzer, like mixing these two together. So I am keeping this. This is an older product, but I'm keeping that one. This Milani one is the same type of product as a couple of blushes I had, where they market this as an illuminating powder, and it says you can use it for bronzer, highlighter, blush, whatever. It's just so lightly pigmented. I mean, there's, like, I don't even know how to describe it. There's not much pigment to this, so I'm definitely getting rid of this. Does anybody remember the NYC bronzers? Oh my gosh. Okay. I am getting rid of this product, but I think I'm going to keep it in like a basket. I have an old Comfort Zone palette and a couple other things that are just like from that time. Like when I started wearing makeup, like actually wearing it. And people on YouTube were talking about this NYC bronzer. So I'm not going to use this anymore. You know, I think this was my second or third one. I used them up. It's just that really like warm orangey bronzer. So I'm getting rid of this. It's not going to be in my collection, but I am going to keep it as like, you know, sentimental makeup. So this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Contour. I love the shade of this contour powder. The highlight is fine. Like there's nothing special about it, but I do think I'm going to get rid of this. I have a lot of contours, and panning that Kevyn Aucoin, I'm realizing it takes forever to go through. I have a good dent in here, but I also know that like once it starts getting into the corners, I'm not going to use it because it's so close to the highlighter. So I think this one can just go. The CoverGirl Chocoholic Contour Palette. I thought about getting rid of this, but then I used it the other day in my food themed makeup look. It's so pigmented, and it was really pretty. It blends out so easily. So I feel like that made me want to keep this for a little while longer. So I think I'm going to do that. But yeah, I was going to get rid of this because I don't wear these highlighters, but using it again, it was really, really nice. I have an Elizabeth Arden Forever Bronze Bronzing Powder. It looks like a bronzer, blush, highlight, contour, but I always mix it together and just use it as a bronzer. It's nice. It's cute. It doesn't stand out in my mind as anything crazy, like amazing or terrible. So I'm going to keep it. It's nice though. This Rimmel bronzer is going the same place that the NYC bronzer is going. It's that same thing I used to use. And they almost look identical, like the way that they swatch the texture and everything. So this one's leaving the collection for more of a sentimental purpose. This is a Physicians Formula bronzer, the Mineral Wear Talc Free in light bronzer. I'm getting rid of this one. I've had this for a long time, and I don't feel I need to keep it. So this one's going to go. This is a Becca highlighter, actually, in bronzed amber. I bought this to use or try to use as a bronzer before I had this actual bronzer from Becca. It is very, very glowy and very, very warm. I'll put this in my maybe pile. It kind of falls in the same category as the other two, the Flower Beauty and the Milani, where I like it. It's just like a little too orange. So I think I'm going to wear it, but then I never ever do. That's kind of where this lands. And while we're on that note, this is the same kind of thing. This is the Milani one in Soleil. It's just so warm. And I know a lot of people love that for their bronzer, you know, a nice toasty warm bronze, but I prefer mine to look a little more cool toned or very neutral at least. So this is going to go in the maybes. This Lorac Hustle and Glow palette, Baked Bronze and Highlight. I love the products in here. I don't reach for this because of this packaging. This is like a gift box. I don't like it for that reason. Like, end of story. The products in here are amazing. Like, so soft and blendable. It kind of falls into the same category as this. Lorac, what are we doing? Like, why? Why do we need this? I don't know. I really don't reach for this because of the packaging. It's bulky. So we're going to put this in the maybe pile. Like, that's becoming much bigger than my declutter pile. This is the Kevin Aquan, the Contour Book Volume 2. I am keeping this for one thing, and that is this medium contour shade right here. The creams I don't use. I've swatched them and stuff, but I don't use these anymore. And there's a powder over it, like a light highlight powder. These eyeshadows are fantastic. I don't reach into this for those, but I am keeping it for this. When I run out of the other one, this is the one I'm going to use. So I am keeping this for that product. I was trying to figure out how easy it would be to get this out of here without destroying the powder. So we'll see when that other one's actually empty. So I'm keeping that. My CoverGirl True Blend Bronzer. This is the same formula as those blushes. This is the glowiest bronzer. I've had this forever and I still like it. It is warm and it is like glowy. This is the equivalent of that Becca highlighter as a bronzer. But I wore this all the time and I still like it. Like, there's something about this that I just enjoy. So I am keeping this. My Pixie Contour Powder, keeping that. Has been repressed in the bottom, but keeping that. Really good standard contour powder. Here's my other Bare Minerals Invisible Bronze in Fair to Light. I actually don't use this one as much as the other two because this is fair to light. Like, it is, you're going to have to build this up. It's not just going to be too much, which is what's kind of nice about it, that it's not going to go overboard. So it's an easy one to use. I feel like if you're in a hurry or something like that, where you don't have time to fix something, this is a good powder for that. Keeping this one. The Jouer Sunshine Bronzer. I have used this maybe one time, and it is for the packaging. I don't understand this. I know it's supposed to be like it hooks together. I had a highlighter and you could like hook them all together, but why? I guess that's my question. Like, why? Because, like, look what Jouer can do. Like my Jouer blush palette. So pretty, right? Like, and I thought when I bought this, I thought, oh, I'm getting such a good deal. It's a Jouer one. It's going to be so pretty. And then I opened it and I was like, I don't think they finished the packaging. I know that's why I don't use this. But the powder looks really nice. So maybe if I get rid of some other ones, I will try this. But this is kind of on the chopping block because it is just weird. I hate to admit it, but packaging does make a difference. For if you have a lot of products, certain things are going to draw your attention. And this one makes me go, why? Why does this look like this? So keeping it for now. This is my other Milani bronzer in 01. Keeping this. Got a nice little dent going in the middle. This is the same as like the same vibe as the Bare Minerals, where it's a really light bronzer. Just, it's pretty. I am going to get rid of these two Wet n Wild bronzers. These were from like the Dragon collection. I don't know. There's two little dragons on them. But I don't know what the collection was. In You're Dragging Me Down and Queensland. They're both going to go. They're nice. They're fine. Those can go. The Laura Geller Face Restructuring Collection. I love the name of that. That makes me laugh every time, and I don't know why. It has a contour, a blush, and a powder. I obviously use it for the contour, but the other two things are pretty, but I am keeping that. It's a nice slim packaging. Take note, Lorac. Okay. Let's do some of these smaller ones. This is a Stila highlighter, and this is in the shade Bronze, the Heaven's Hue highlighter. Again, thinking maybe I can use it as a bronzer, but it's a really cool texture. But it is very, very shiny. Like as a highlighter on a deeper skin tone, that'd be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But for me, it's too dark as a highlighter. It's too shiny to be a bronzer, so... And I could tell myself I'm going to put it in my eyeshadows and I'm going to use it like that, but I won't. So I think I'm going to put this in the go pile. Yeah, I'll put it down here with the maybes and go pile. We'll see where it ends up, but it's just one of those, it's just not right for me and I can't make it work. This bronze booster from Physicians Formula. I love this. I think this is so cute, the little sun and everything, but very similar to those other Milani bronzers where it's just very orangey. So the reality is I should probably get rid of it. But when I look in the drawer and I'm like, oh, look how pretty, but I never actually reach for it and use it. So we'll put this in the maybes/go pile. I have them sitting in the same spot, so we'll see what I pull back out at the end. We'll go through the maybes at the end. This is an e.l.f. bronzer in Golden. You're going to see a bunch of these packages. And these are fine, but I do think I'm going to get rid of this. This is the kind of thing that I can't see it, and so I have several, and there's more over here that look like this, and I just don't use them. What's the other one? Oh, this is my St. Lucia blush and bronzer. The bronzer in here is absolutely gorgeous. They have had hard pan. I've had to scrape them off, so they look like this. And the blush is meh. So I think I'm going to get rid of both of these. This is my e.l.f. contour palette. You know, I was going to keep this for this contour powder. I don't use the other 3 powders in here. I was going to keep it for this, but I mean, I have this one, which is a full powder. I have this one. I think I might go ahead and get rid of this. I've had this for a really long time. I think that may go. That's shocking. That may come back out. We'll see. We'll see. But I feel like I should let it go with the other products that I have. This is another Laura Geller Giant product. The Baked Body Frosting Face and Body Glow in Gilded Glow. I understand, like, these are this is a big compact, so you can fit like a big brush in it. But like, why the lid? Anyway, this is more like a highlighter, actually. Definitely gives me more vibes of a highlighter. I've never actually used this on the body, so I kind of want to try that this summer. Like, I'm excited for the warm weather, and I always wear like sundresses and things like that. And I want to try this and the other one like on my, you know, chest area and like shoulders and things like that. So I am going to keep this. I do want to try and play with that a little bit. I have a Profusion Pro Contour palette. I think I'm going to get rid of this, like the highlight shades, the powder shades. I don't use any of those. They're all very, very orangey. And these are all pretty warm. This one's a good shade, but yeah, as I just talked about with the e.l.f. one, I have a lot of contour, so I'm going to get rid of this. Same with my BH Studio Pro. I never really used this for contouring. Like, that's why I bought it, for like the powders up here. But these are all like bronzer tones for me. And I do have like a specific want in a contour versus a bronzer. Like in the tones here, like how gray this looks versus how orangey warm those are. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of this. The powder like texture in here was really nice. It's really soft, but we're going to get rid of that guy. Batch number 3, 4, I don't know. Let's see what else we have. All right, we'll go ahead and go through these, and then I have a little pile. I have like 9 or 10 face palettes we'll go through after this, and then that'll be done with the bronzer section. So we'll just start with what my hand keeps hitting. This is a little contour stick in Coffee from Flesh. I've said before, I don't like stick formulas like this, but they're just too stiff. Like, it doesn't blend nicely, so I'm getting rid of that. I'm keeping my Butter Bronzer. This is another one that I feel like I'm supposed to like because everybody else does. I do not enjoy the smell, but this is a really nice product and I will use this. So I am going to keep this one. This is a number 7 bronzer in Golden Sand. I'm going to keep that. Very, very light bronzer as well. So I like to have a variety, you know, different shades, different tones, different depths. This is the Bronze Booster. Also love the packaging of this. Now this one I'm actually going to keep. I do like this. It is a very standard matte bronzer, nothing too exciting. I am going to keep this one. This is going to go the Rimmel Highlight Contour Blush Palette with Kate. Oh, what was her name? I'm totally blanking, but I am going to go ahead and get rid of this. This was a decent contour shade, but I don't use little palettes like this normally, so that's going to go. I'm keeping this Believe Beauty. This one is in the shade Havana Sunset. Again, that beautiful formula. Very, very, very nice. And it is plastic packaging, but it feels pretty substantial. Like, it feels nice in your hand. It's like a thicker plastic than like a Wet n Wild. So nice job, Believe Beauty. My Hard Candy Fox in a Box Party Girl. I am keeping this. This was one of my first bronzers, along with the, like, these were two that I had when I first started watching YouTube, and people were like, bronzers, you can get the Fox in a Box. I had like all these blushes and I hunted them down, and I wanted all of the scents and the colors. I have since decluttered all of the blushes. The smells of those were gross, but this is the chocolate bronzer and it smells nice. I'm keeping it. The ABH contour stick. I've had this forever. And again, it's that really thick stick formula that I am not a fan of. Like, I love the color of this and it blends out okay, but I am going to get rid of this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get rid of it. I've kept it and I don't use it. Another one of those e.l.f. palettes in Turks and Caicos. These are all fine. Honestly, like, all of the e.l.f. powders in the packaging like this are fine. But this, I don't know if you can tell, has huge glitter chunks in it. You can see it, like huge silver glitter in it. And I usually kind of mix them, and I don't know. That's going to go. The Master Bronze palette. This is really nice quality. The last time I used this, I actually did it at like a highlight, blush, bronzer, contour situation, and it actually was really pretty. I was going to get rid of this, but after swatching it, that looks really good. I think I might hang on to this for right now. I don't know why. I'm just kind of feeling it. I think I'm going to keep this one. Yeah, I thought I was going to get rid of that, but the LA Colors Shape It Up palette. I bought this for this shade right here. And again, I have so many contours at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. It is a nice palette though. Like, if you're looking for a good contour shade, the LA Colors are good. You can also get these at Dollar General. Another e.l.f. palette. This is in the shade Warm. Packaging of these is really, really nice. And this is pretty. I don't know, maybe I'll keep one of these. I don't know why. I feel like I need to. I think I might keep this one. I've gotten rid of the rest. I think I might keep this. This is like the most pigmented. I do think I'm going to keep this. I hadn't planned on that, but I'm going to let myself keep one of these. And then that way I'll know what is in here because it's the only one I kept. The rest of them are always lined up and I didn't know what was what. Like, you have to turn it over and read the little tag. I'm just going to keep the one. I know which one I'm keeping, and maybe I'll get a little more use out of that. My Profusion Highlight and Contour. I am keeping this. I kept the blush palettes too. They're really good products inside. I don't tend to reach for things like this, but I do want to keep Profusion products, so I'm keeping that. This is the pH Matchmaker from Physicians Formula. I like the tone of this, but there is glitter in this. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, around the edges, if you look, like shimmer. And I think it was meant to be an overspray around the outside to be cute, and it was on the lettering in the center, but now it's like part of the bronzer, and when you swatch it, you get a ton of glitter. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, it's not cute. I'm getting rid of that. Like, it's chunky, visible glitter. So that is going. I don't mind that in my blush or even in a highlight, you know, like some glowy cheeks, but on my forehead or something, it just looks weird. So, all right, I'm keeping this, the Matte Bronzing Powder Palette. I have only used it a couple of times. Again, it was a raved about product and it was okay, but there's a ton of product in here and it is good, so I'm going to keep it. The Cara Beauty Bronze Goddess. I don't really have my feelings on this. I have only used it once. The same as that blush palette. Very, very pigmented. Warning. But I do need to use this a couple more times before I can really make a choice. It's a fairly new product to me. And then I have the Perfectly Defined kit. This was the last contour palette I bought. And this will be the last contour palette I buy. I thought I'd be able to use more of the shades. Like these two over here are the ones I'm interested in for contour. And then like the white shade for like under the eyes or whatever. I don't know. It's just, it's humongous. Like this is gigantic. Like these pans are like the size of this butter bronzer. Like that's how big this is. Try to use something everybody will know how big it is. So it is a massive palette. I'm going to keep this. Again, it's still kind of new and it weighs a ton. So we'll see if we get any use out of this. But I'm no longer buying palettes like this or palettes like this. I just don't use these. I just don't. But I'm going to keep both of them since I already have them and they're new-ish. I have a handful of face palettes here. Let's look through these really quickly. I feel like bronzer is probably the most logical place to put them. And then we'll be done with this portion of the video. This is my newest one. This is the Becca Sunsetter palette. I'm going to keep this. Has some highlighters, a bronzer. I use this as a blush. It's really pretty. Keeping that. I'm going to keep my other Becca X Chrissy Teigen palette. I've used this one a lot. So definitely keeping that. This is very summery. I definitely want to pull this one out for summertime. This Physicians Formula one, I think I'm going to keep it. The highlighters and stuff have like fallen out and you know, it's been a bit of a thing. But the tones of this, I like the pigmentation and the colors in here better than my individual blushes that I had. And the bronzers are not the same bronzer that I am keeping. So I am going to keep this palette. This Stila palette, I think I'm going to let it go. I keep it because the pigmentation is absolutely out of this world. It has 4 eyeshadows or 5 eyeshadows and like 2 blushes. So I've carried it in my purse before as like my little, you know, palette to keep with me. But even then I'm like, I just don't use something like this. I feel like this may go. I'm going to put this in the to-go maybe situation. So that's where it's going to go. Both of these Cheek Leaders palettes I'm keeping. I actually bought these off like, what was it, like the QVC website or something like that. There was like a special during like the 2020, you know, things going on. You know, we were home all the time and I was just like, whatever, I want some new palettes. So I bought some new things. Some of these things are from that where it's just like, nobody knew what was happening. So I'm definitely keeping these. I don't use these enough. I need to pull these out and like set them on my desk, but I'm keeping those. That's always what those make me think of though. They were such like an extravagantly weird purchase for me to make. Reminds me of the year. So that's kind of fun at least. Okay, I have this e.l.f. palette. This is the A Bunch of Numbers palette. I'm going to get rid of this. It is really pretty. Again, this was one I carried around in my bag. You can see like a good dent in this and in that. But I just don't use this. I'm trying not to blind everybody. So I'm getting rid of that. This really cute Becca palette. A couple of bronzers, a couple highlights, a blush. So keeping that. And my Too Faced Natural Face palette, the most gorgeous packaging I have in a product. Keeping this. I've used this quite a bit. But it always throws me off that they call this the Natural Face palette. Like I imagined really basic colors, really, you know, champagne highlight. And these are like duochrome highlighters over here and like some pretty out there blush colors like the bright pink. These are almost like a gold and a pink. I don't know. It's interesting choices for a natural face palette, but I am going to keep this beautiful packaging. I mean, this beautiful palette. Okay, let me pull up the things that were in the maybe pile and let's see where we stand with those. Okay, here are our chopping block items. Let's set these off to the side for the moment. Let me just open these up. Like, look how warm toned and shiny all of these are. So there's definitely a theme to the things that I'm not a huge fan of. Okay, I think I'm going to come to terms with what I actually like in a bronzer. And I think in a very reality-based situation with everything I have setting over here that I'm keeping, Most of these can go. I think I'm going to get rid of both of these. I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I keep it because I want to wear it, but I don't like the color. I do want to try this in the other one. I'm going to add it to my cart, my Ulta cart, like right now. And I do want to try the other shade of this. It looks amazing. So I'm going to get rid of this. If I want the other one, I'll get it, but I am going to get rid of this one. And these two, I think, yeah, I'm just going to, yeah, I'm going to get rid of both of these. And in terms of this stuff, I think it can go. Like I said, I'm going to put everything in a box and it'll probably be there for about a week at least. And I'll decide if I want it. You know, if without going through it, I'm going to let it set. And if there's something that I'm like, oh, I really wish I hadn't put that in there, I can take it out. I feel like this is a beautiful product. Like this, for example, is a beautiful product. But this is not suitable for me. Like I can't do anything with this. So I think these are going to go. And the packaging of this is the worst. Like that stops me from using this. If I could take these out and figure out how to use this a different way, maybe. But as it stands right now, I think that's going to go. So let's see what we're moving out here. Here. 27 bronzers we're getting rid of. Wow. I did not realize how ready I was to declutter some of these things and just not look at them in my drawer and always overlook them, never use them. So yeah, I feel really good about this. And there are even some things on the top over here, like these palettes that I'm like, I almost want to declutter it right now because looking at it, I'm like, it's not my favorite, but I don't want to be that ruthless yet because like I said, I've said before, I purchased all this with my own money and I hate to just get rid of things to get rid of things. You know, I'm everything here, there's a reason I don't want it. The shades of these, I don't reach for them, the pigmentation, everything else in the palette, the practical use for myself. So okay, 27 bronzers gone. I feel really good about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will consider subscribing and stay tuned for more declutter videos coming your way. We are not done yet. See you next time. Bye.